Hey y'all. Y'all already know it's Ms.Chelle Latrice, and I feel like talking, so I'm gonna talk. I have to start off like this, y'all. It's my channel, and I'm really grateful that I get to be cathartic and use my channel and say what I want to say and all that good stuff. Choose my own topics. I want y'all to talk back at me, but if you don't, I won't stop talking. That part. All right. So listen, y'all. Um, I would like to talk about how divorce does not equal failure. Okay, divorce does not equal failure. So I can only talk about stuff that I feel like I know about, okay, or that I am strongly opinionated about. This is one of them. So again, I'm like 800 and something years old, and that's fine. But what I found with talking to different people, talking to some friends, even myself, a lot of times people feel like if the relationship did not, if the marriage relationship did not, um, did not last. Let's say that did not last, and you all end up getting a divorce, then a lot of us feel like we have failed. We feel like we have failed. I don't know if it's generational. I don't know, and it could be across the spectrum. It could just be across the board. I'm just speaking from my point of view. We often feel like, did we do enough? Was it something else I could have done? We just feel like it's a failure because it did not work out, because you did not stay married. You feel like you have failed at something. But again, because I'm 800 years old and I seen a few sunrises and sunsets, I can tell you that divorce does not always mean failure. Sometimes people are in relationships that, to be very honest with you, they probably never should have gotten married. And I truly, in my heart of hearts, feel like that's why so many of these marriages are ending in divorce. Now, I told y'all a long time ago, I'm on the church's side, and I truly feel like people are not equally yoked. I do. I really feel that way. I also feel like people are not mature enough to go into a lifelong relationship. I don't think people take the bond that seriously, to be very honest with you. Now, if I talk about myself, I got married when I was 20. Let me just say this. I was 20 years old. I pretty much, I was doing things that probably 40-year-olds did. I was buying my house. I I got, kind of rooted in my profession, all kind of stuff. I had children very young. I did a lot of things very young. And I, what I believe most people do not, um, take account for, or take in account, is that you are not the same person at 20 that you are at 35 or 30, or for that matter 25. So as you kind of evolve, you're just gradually, or you're transitioning into adulthood. And so, I mean, you're a whole different individual by the time you get 5 years up the road. Now, your prayer is that whomever you are with, that they grow with you, and that you guys find a common ground, or you guys are mature enough to grow together. That, you know what I'm saying? You're mature enough to grow together. But I really find that most of the time, that is not the case. That's not the case. That's not the case. Or sometimes you just in a relationship, and let me say this. Sometimes you are in a relationship because of what you've been taught. When I was growing up, women, main goal was get married, have some children, and be able to say my husband. Everybody want to say my husband, honey. They will drop that word every time they talk. Girl, my husband. Girl, I'm walking up the street. My husband. Just putting it in a sentence. Don't even belong in a sentence. You just want to say my husband, and you want to show off your ring. You just got your ring in people's face all the time. That does not a relationship make. Believe it and receive it, and that alone will not keep a relationship going. Just like a baby won't keep a man. Just like none of this stuff will a relationship make. It really takes two people who are thoroughly invested in the relationship, okay? Who believe in doing the right thing, who believe in making it work. Let me be super, super clear. Love ain't never kept nobody together. Hate to tell y'all that. It ain't never kept nobody together. So it's multiple factors. Love ain't kept nobody together, y'all. I'm telling you. Just like you can be in love. I mean, you can just be really in love. And then when bills become due and they're not getting paid, okay? You understand? People most of the time they're not in love with that, okay? And they forget that they love you. I'm just telling you. So it's again all these multiple factors, all these different factors go into a relationship. Relationship's so complicated, but I believe that if you don't have a good foundation, I told y'all I was churchy. If you don't build a good foundation, like a godly foundation, where you're in a good spiritual place, you know what I'm saying? Then it's really hard to connect with somebody else. Remember, y'all spirits are like connecting. Everything that's in this person and everything that's in this other person, it is connecting. And and that part right there is where I think people have the most trouble and the most heartache, trying to connect with another human being, especially when you ain't got it all together. Okay. So again, going back to what I was saying before, I think in my generation, all you thought about was, I'm gonna have a husband, we're gonna get married, we're gonna buy a house, we're gonna have some kids. Like that was like your focus. Nobody told you, nobody sat you down and told you what it took. Nobody sat you down and told you what a good woman was. Nobody sat you down and told you what a good man was. For the most part, a lot of us, and it goes, just shoots off in the other areas. Some of us did not have a male figure around to even show us what it was like to see somebody be a good husband. You know what I'm saying? Some of us came up under single parent households, and your mama was a very good woman, was an excellent mother, but you still didn't know how to be a wife. Because you see what I'm saying? See what I'm saying? So it's so many different factors. So a lot of times we act like when we get these divorces, it's a failure. But can I be real honest with you? There was some missteps way before you guys got that divorce. Probably way before you actually got married. Okay? Let me just say this. Marriage is not going to be for everybody. Now, be real clear. I ain't talking about me. I'm not talking about me. I'm talking about in general. But marriage is not for everybody. Some people, that's not their heart's desire to just want to be married. Everybody out here don't want to be married. But in my generation, that's just what it was. That's just what it was. Some people are totally content being single, living their quote unquote best life. And then if you're gonna be married, please be a whole person. Be a whole person, because the other person is not gonna be able to complete you. They can't complete you. You got to be completed before you get to the table. You got to be a complete person before you get to the table, because now you trying to make somebody else responsible for filling a void that you got when you bounce your dusty behind up to the table. That never works. So if you're divorcing and then hopping back in to another marriage before you have worked on you, then all you did was again hop your behind to the table on your way to another divorce. It is what it is. I'm telling you, that's what it is. So it's not necessarily that divorce is a failure. I believe that there are missteps before you get there. Or you're jumping into something because that's the norm. You know what I'm saying? That's society. That used to be like a societal norm. Like you get married. Like that's it. It is what it is. You get married. Now, baby, you got people that never get married. You got some people that will never get married. You got some people who have married, got divorced, and probably won't touch that again. You got people being life partners. You got people. I mean, I'm not talking about that. That's for me because I personally don't want to be anybody's life partner unless I'm married to them. Now, life partner that. But I'm saying some people are going in different directions because they've been so disillusioned because they think they have failed at something and they don't want to fail again. But little babies, I don't believe that's the case. I think you have to look at what went into it. You understand? So again, I'm 20 years old when I got married. You know I was not the same person. I definitely wasn't no size. I definitely ain't no size 3'9", but I was size 3 then. Okay? You just, I physically, spiritually, and everything was just a different person. Was just a different person. So, for all y'all that feel like you failed, I would challenge you to just take a look. You know what I'm saying? Take an inside look at what went on with you and what you got going on now. It's not necessarily failure. Sometimes these things are just beginnings. Beginnings of a very new and more than likely wonderful chapter. Now, am I condoning and encouraging divorce? No, I am not. But I'm just letting you know that you're not a failure, dear heart. You're not a failure. You're not a failure because that marriage didn't work out. Again, it was probably missteps before the marriage. And when you have missteps before, you have missteps in the marriage. Okay? So, I ain't here to bash nobody and run nobody down in these good streets. But I just want people to know you're not a failure, dear heart. You're not a failure. But what you should be successful at is figuring out who you are before you try to get connected with somebody else in a very legal way, in a very spiritual way. Find out what you got going on. I can honestly say, and I'm gonna get off because honey, y'all know I like to talk. I can honestly say at this age right now, right here, in this place, in this space, in this time, I know who I am and I know what I want. And then I also know what I don't want. And I know that I'm not a failure. Okay. All right. Y'all like, subscribe, share, turn on these doggone notifications. Tell me what you want to talk about. Leave me a comment or two. Be respectful. Come on, y'all. Let's get it. Let's go.